How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. I'm here with my fiance.
Terrance.
I have seen South Park up season 20-something.
I'm watching Blinds.
This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, All Cops Are Bastards, and Trans Rights supporting channel. You better be as well, or you can get the fuck out of here. This is Season 5, Episode 5, Terrance and Phillip Behind the Blow.
Oh boy.
Any predictions?
I don't think it's going to be a full-on, here is a Terrance Phillip episode. I think it is going to be like a behind-the-scenes thing. Like, they are having, actual conflict as actors, and then the boys somehow have to help them with that.
Okay, let's get into it. If you want to get the full length, check it out on Patreon below. So, what would you rate this episode?
3 out of 10.
Yeah, honestly, I'll give it like a 4 out of 10. It was below average.
Yeah.
There was some good jokes, but ultimately it was kind of a rerun episode in a weird, not really.
Sure.
You know, it was, they started this as like it's the rerun. It's the kind of I'm glad we got an episode like this. It touches a lot more on Terrance and Phillip and everything like that, but yeah, this was man, let's get away with not having to animate much and just reusing some footage and kind of this was the take it easy episode. It really feels like. Also, there's just a lot of lore plot holy kind of stuff that was coming up continuously. It was really weird.
Yeah.
They really were not thinking very clearly about this episode.
I honestly would have been more happy with it if it was the entire episode is the the episode, like the show.
Yeah, the behind the blow thing.
Yeah.
I think,
because every time we cut back to the main plots, it was so stale. It was so they're just being chased. Yeah,
the Earth Day stuff didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
I thought it had some funny, I guess I didn't really think it had any funny jokes.
I mean, the thing with the Earth Day thing is, the one joke that they had that really landed with me, which was they're insufferable, is something they could have done with literally any group, and they've done it with any group.
And I don't like it here because I know that, it was enjoyable to me in a death of the author sense, but I know they're against environmentalism at this point in the show.
Right.
In the future differently, but at this point they are climate deniers or climate change deniers.
Yeah.
So it is an episode from that perspective. But regardless of that, from a death of the author perspective, from a just what the show portrays, absolutely, I hate liberals. I hate the it's all up to us, we are the reason that the world's dying, as opposed to all the insane corporations and stuff like this where they put together huge Earth Day festivals and they're wasting so much stuff and causing so much pollution and everything, and they blame the people for it.
Right.
Or, the celebrities shaming you for not recycling when they're only here because they're getting paid $2,000.
Yeah.
It's the insane amount of hypocrisy when it's how about you use this effort to lobby and make these businesses be recycling more and all that stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, it's the whole thing of when it's coming from the two creators who at this time were climate change deniers, it just comes across kind of weird.
Also, it is to me just sort of a retread of what they've said about a ton of other stuff already.
Like what?
I can't think of anything in particular, but I feel like I've heard the sentiment on South Park, and we're only 5 seasons in. I feel like I've heard it 50 times already.
All right, I feel like we haven't heard this sentiment yet. I feel like the rainforest episode was different and way worse.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But this one was their, I think, this one really felt like when they do we say that we make fun of everybody, but we don't. And then, one, that's a stupid thing. The whole we make fun of everybody. It's such a stupid argument anyway.
Right.
For comedy rules, I've always followed George Carlin. George Carlin is the father of comedy. George Carlin, I think, is one of the best comedians of all time, and he puts it perfectly. What are you doing if you're not punching down? If your comedy is not punching down, which this was.
Punching up?
Punching up. I'm gonna say, what are you doing if you are punching down?
Okay.
Comedy should always be punching up, and this is as well. It is punching up towards the celebrities and the politician liberals and everything. Whereas a lot of the other sort of stuff I feel is more punching down. So normally though, I feel a lot of times literally we need to do a make fun of everybody episode, and that episode is really shit because it's very forced and it's very they didn't have an idea. Their idea was just, oh, oopsie, we said that we make fun of everybody and we don't. Which, again, I'm not for.
Sure.
But, yeah. Well, what else do you have to say about the episode?
My favorite joke is probably Kenny losing his limbs.
Yeah? I don't think he also didn't die in the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a breath of fresh air.
It was. Always good to see Kenny not die in the episodes. But to be fair, though, I do think this is funnier than Kenny just not dying like the Christmas episode or something. Like, because you expect him to be dying the whole time. Whereas the Christmas episode is a, like, you know, slowly you start to get like, okay, they're not going to kill him this episode.
Right.
What else to talk about? Let's talk about the Terrance and Phillip aspect. We learned a lot more about Terrance and Phillip and like their past and everything. And just what do you feel about all the Terrance and Phillip lore we got?
It was cool to see their beginnings. It's cool to see that, I guess, as long as you're a minor, you have to have a lowercase letter.
I mean, it seems like just anybody does. Like, people in the play didn't, I guess, to be fair. But, I mean, he didn't have it on his shirt either. He had it on his chest, and it was only visible because his chest was open.
Yeah. So I guess presumably...
But we've seen many of the adults like that as well.
Yeah. True. Huh. And I can say, I wonder why they changed from lowercase to uppercase. Like, is it just because they're celebrities? They decided we're going to move
were
up?
you saying lowercase letters?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just saying any, you know, toddlers had to have the letter on the shirt. Oh, no, lettercase, I'm not sure. That might be the case.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Yeah, because we don't really get a transition. It is just, at some point, they start using the uppercase.
I'm trying to remember if in Not Without My Anus, if Terrance's son had a lowercase letter on his shirt. I can't remember. But either way, the timeline on that, by the way.
Oh
yeah, the timeline is wild. It doesn't make any sense. And again, they also said like 8 million people died when they didn't. Well, I guess like, are they talking about it in like a technicality sense? Because like they did, but then they were all immediately revived.
True. I guess they could be talking from the sense of that did happen. Like we know that Satan rewrote everything afterwards.
Yeah. I guess these people did go through the pain of dying, so it would be kind of bad to erase that.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, the timeline is wild without it makes sense. But I do like that they gave a timeline to it, and they did give a like, you know, like the only thing that doesn't make sense is where's the Terrance and Phillip cartoon come from? Like not the one that we were shown, but the other one that we were shown in series.
Yeah.
Because like we have seen Not Without My Anus as the movie, but then we also see many times they do have an actual cartoon.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not a cartoon, but they have an actual like I guess sketch show. Like, it's not a cartoon, it is a sketch show, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the cartoon, though, like, you know, the one we saw in this episode, had to be really popular because then they had the problem of, oh, people don't know that we're people.
Yeah. So I guess that is why they then did... But the sketch show had to have come before the movie, Not Without My Anus.
Yeah, because they specifically did the movie because the cartoon was too popular, and people did not realize that they were people.
Yeah. Which, again, doesn't make any sense if they had the sketch show where they were real people.
Yeah.
None of it makes any sense.
I mean, I guess I could see it from a timeline perspective of like they started in the 60s, so it could have been like they did the sketch show, then they did the cartoon for like 10 years. At that point, like anyone who grew up with the cartoon wouldn't remember the sketch show.
Maybe, and then but they're looking forward to new episodes. They were disappointed that it was a rerun this episode.
I mean, this episode takes place in 2001.
Sure. But still, after like there's new sketch things. I guess like they just never stopped the sketch show.
Yeah.
Like they started doing other stuff and just never stopped it. I guess that's the explanation.
Yeah.
But yeah. Man. I like the Terrance getting really fat and then Phillip just being the same.
Oh yeah.
Like they could have easily made them both just like, you know, be fat and like, you know, just fall into like a depressive, you know, spiral or whatever.
Right.
But I like that Phillip was just, he was fine.
Yeah.
He was chilling. He was doing Canadian Shakespeare.
Boy, that Canadian Shakespeare though.
So long they made us watch it, which was the joke, but it's again the Family Guy thing of like, just doing something long is not funny.
Right.
We've talked about that many times in South Park, and yeah, it feels like such a Family Guy thing to do.
Yeah.
And I do think that South Park stopped doing that more once Family Guy started becoming more popular. I'm not even sure when the hell Family Guy started, to be fair, so I don't even know. But and I don't know if I'm talking to my ass when I say they stopped doing that, to be fair. But in my mind, I think they did, but I don't know. either way, I'm not a fan of like the just do something long for a long period of time and it's funny. I think when you hold on something for a long period of time and then have a like comedic beat response, that can then be funny.
Okay.
But just doing something for a long period of time and then being like, man, this is going on for a long period of time is not funny.
I think it also is very different whether you do it in live action or in animation. Yeah. Because in animation, you also have the additional thing of, do you just, like, loop this or very limitedly animate it? Or do you do, like, a really, really long thing that is very well animated?
Yeah.
And then in live action, it's the same thing of, do we just slowly zoom in on this guy doing nothing? Or is it, like, an actual sketch that we're just doing for a really long time?
Yeah.
Because that has different amounts of entertainment to me.
Same. It's definitely depending on the context of it, but yeah. I do think it's harder to do it in something like this.
Yeah.
Especially because, even when you're talking about animation, this is like a different ballgame. Because, again, it is animation, but it's so closer to stop motion.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, stop motion is near upon impossible to do something like that in. Or it's just a wasted effort. But I did love the Canadian Shakespeare of just one being really, really fast for some reason, but like just the interjections of buddy, guy, friend, like it.
Yeah.
Just getting to see all the different designs of them throughout the ages, and I don't know why it always makes me laugh whenever I just see them in a picture with like actual people.
Oh yeah.
It's more funny than if they did it with like the normal South Park character designs. I think it's because we have that so often already.
Yeah.
Like with the like normal face on a South Park design, that having Terrance and Phillip be next to these people is even weirder.
It also has the strong like, oh, this is historically accurate. Like, this is the real president of the United States they met.
Yeah. And especially when it is all intercut with like them making like or animating other celebrities and other politicians, but not certain ones. What I really liked about Terrance's like fat design is that the Canadians are all like square. Everything about them square, rectangular, boxing, everything like that. And like that's like one of the only things to break that.
Yeah,
I really like that. It's. There's no point to it. Like there's no real reason, but I just like that they did do that.
Sure.
What else to talk about in this episode?
I did really like that shot of like Terrance in front of the mirror.
Yeah. Again, there was a lot of good usage of the new studio, while at the same time just reusing so much animation and just using so much stills.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's why it was a very tonally strange episode as well. Like, it was, again, one of those episodes where a real lack of music and a real lack of stings, like, between scenes. And yeah, we were kind of just, we were using the Behind the Blow as a framing device, and then they kind of felt like, we did, like, a whole thing Behind the Blow, and we went to commercial, so we kind of need to go back to the other thing, and they cut back to the kids for all of 3 seconds before they cut back to Behind the Blow, and it's like, we just talked, like, they were just talking about, like, a few episodes ago, last episode, we realized we don't have to do an A-B plot sort of thing, and then here we go. This feels like the most A-B plot thing since like the Turkeys episode with Starvin' Marvin. Like, they're so separate. Yeah, they're so unbelievably separate.
And every time we cut to the A plot, it is like the thing that bothers me. I keep on saying it is that the Earth Day adults are so boring.
Yeah, there really is nothing going on with them.
Like every time you cut to them, it's the same joke of they threaten the kids and then one of them pulls out a machete.
Yeah, like compare it to the Starvin' Marvin episodes with like Sally Struthers and her whole people, or the Planetarium. Planetarium guy. I can't even say it. It's so hard to say. Planetarium.
But yeah, like generally, if there's an A plot, it like with a like new group of characters, they tend to like change throughout the A plots, or like they're doing different things throughout the A plots.
Even the villains get it almost like kind of arc.
Yeah,
sometimes. Even if that arc is being defeated, it's still a character arc.
Yeah, whereas this one was a very solid line of, you need to get Terrance and Phillip.
Yeah. Yeah. This reminds me, honestly, of the... I can't even remember... it was the Mr. Hanky episode where we had the people coming to town and ruining the, like, sewer system, which is the exact opposite message of this, honestly.
Yeah.
But that episode also didn't like it at all. Like, the villains were just, like... people that like came to South Park and then brought tourists with them and stuff, and they didn't really have any character to them. And I remember when we were watching that just being like, man, there's such a difference between like these characters and later South Park villains, and then I'm watching this episode and I'm like, guess not much of a change between season 1 and season 5. Still don't really know how to make liberal villains that well, which is sad because I think you can make a really good liberal villain.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they're just not good at it. They're just so fucking right now, at least they're so fucking bad at it. And for thinking forward, I feel like they're gonna be pretty bad about it for a long time. I can't think of a good liberal villain in this show. I really can't. There is one that they have had to come back. Like, there's one that's good that they had to then, like, pull back because they're like, oh, yeah, we were kind of stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
But, aside from that, I wish they could do better. Especially because South Park is, I think that is a big, aspect of it. Like, South Park is extremely influential on people and everything like that.
Yeah.
Trey and Matt are, I disagree with you at the start, but definitely, they're 100% centrist, or at the very least libertarian, which is basically just centrist.
Yeah.
There's really no difference. I would have liked for them to imprint a lot more fuck the liberals, fuck the conservatives, fuck Republicans, fuck libertarians, fuck centrists, fuck everybody. Like, fuck everybody that ain't left, But, like, no, like, even if, that wasn't their true thing, but, like, if they at least did do a fuck Republicans, fuck liberals, we don't like them both, that would have been fine. And they try to do that, but they don't do a good job of it.
Right.
So then people just come off the show being, like, centrist or libertarian, which is basically the same as being liberal or Republican. It's really just, you have picked a side, but you don't want to talk about it.
Right.
That's really what libertarian or centrism is. And that's really what I feel like this show has done to a lot of the audience, sadly, is instead of making them actually critical about both sides and actually think about what they care about, they've just been like, oh, you shouldn't care about anything.
Right.
So they had a chance to actually make, to do shit like that. I think they really failed at the hurdle.
Yeah.
But I'll still always enjoy the making fun of Republican episodes, or at least good at that. But you know what? It's so easy to do that. I really do like, though, that as we're getting, more into this, the characters in the class and the teacher are becoming more just, like, regular, and not in a sense where they need to have, like, a focus to them, but they'll just, they can say a line in the episode without it feeling like, they're making a point to, like, before it's like when Token would say a line, it was very like, oh, Token said a line.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, now when a character says a line, it just feels natural. I feel like I can't really tell what the difference is. Maybe just having more class-focused episodes throughout the whole thing, but it feels more natural now than it did before.
Okay.
Would you feel the same, or do you think...
To be fair, you've been focusing on the class way more than I have.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of times where, I just didn't notice.
Yeah. I mean, more like, Chokusande could, like, come in this and we start to do some stuff in the class and everything, and it's not, like, a big deal. Whereas, if an episode started before and, or not even if it started, but just, if Mr. Garrison was, like, teaching something in the class, usually he would also be relevant to the episode in some way, whereas we're not really doing that anymore, and I actually like that.
Yeah.
A character saying something does not mean that it's, like, just they're going to be a part of this episode now.
Right. It's, okay, fair.
Or, the times where one of the characters would just randomly show up with the group of them. Like, they haven't been doing that as much anymore. But, I think that's all I have to say.
Same.
I've already looked at the notes of this episode. Not really any interesting notes. Yeah, nothing else.
All right.
See you guys for the next one. Till then, get the fuck out of here.